Welcome back to another episode of the Game Language Podcast, where we deduce, dissect, and discuss video games and whether or not they speak our language. I'm Troy for real this time. And with me always is
Jason.
And we actually have a guest.
Hello.
This is our friend Aaron, a.k.a. Hades, a.k.a. Other Nigga. No, no, he's got a lot of names. But
I am the nigga. Get it correct.
I'm older.
I'm taller.
That don't mean shit, except for that you'll fall faster.
I'm sorry. There was a certain movie that said there is a height requirement, Troy.
But how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've podcasted, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, what was the podcast you used to do?
Weeb Speak.
Yeah.
We used to review anime. It's cursed, so we don't do it anymore. But
I used to be part of that. It was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome to the podcast. We're just going to go over a few different things about games, things that you like, things that you dislike. I do have a series of questions that I like to ask guests when they come on. First one being, how often do you game?
not often.
Yeah.
I used to be a avid video game. I used to stream pretty frequently, trying to get back into it. But if I'm lucky, maybe twice a week. But if I'm lucky, I run a busy life, man.
Yeah. I wanted to say, what game genre stands out to you the most?
Always action and adventure.
Yeah.
Just hack and slash, anything like that. Always really enjoyed playing those games.
Games that let you press buttons.
Basically, combo mid into the games. Though, granted, most action adventure games now are just like two button swings now.
Everybody wants to be FromSoft. It's just put the buttons on the what is it, the R1, R2.
I will say it feels nice sometimes when you're just swinging, like in God of War when you're swinging the axe and just, you only have the two buttons. But when you're playing like games like Devil May Cry and you have the whole controller basically at your disposal, I think those are some of the most fun games. But yeah, absolutely. So recently, what are some game mechanics you enjoy or wish were better represented? You'd have to give me an example of a mechanic.
Like stun mechanics in video games where it's parries, like just, Monster Hunter, you can ride on monsters, things like that. Just different mechanics.
I would definitely say that I think the parry system needs to be looked at a little bit better. I know Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and all that really promote like parrying things, but it's not exactly the easiest thing because it's definitely one of those get good moments, and I can't tell you how many times I've whiffed a counter hit or trying to counter hit, and then the creature just kills me immediately after.
I'd say like one of the biggest serotonin dumps that I get from an action game is parrying. Mm-hmm. You know, that moment where it's just like you parry the attack, everything like freezes. There's a huge amount of feedback, and normally you get some type of benefit from it. Parrying is super satisfactory.
Parrying or dodging I think are probably some of my favorite things in games, especially with like Nier or Bayonetta, where you just like time shift. One of my favorite memories of playing the beginning of Nier was when you're fighting against the opera singer boss. I can't remember the exact name of the boss.
No, I love that boss.
And it's going through and you're just dodging everything.
Yeah. Okay. And then final question, which video game character best represents you?
See, I always say Dante because I always felt like I always resonated with Dante, but recently it's either Kratos or Hanzo from Mortal Kombat. Really, and I mean like Kratos from like the newer games. Someone that's just constantly trying to do better, but tends to find things that keep poking and prodding him at his past. So,
so you're in your grizzled dad phase. You don't have any kids, but you're like, I'm going through that hole. I'm trying to be better. I used to have all this rage, but I'm trying to be better. Stop pushing my buttons.
The rage is still there. Don't get me wrong. But.
And then
depressed dad simulators. Is that your new genre?
And then I do have a bonus question, and one that I kind of want to keep around for a little bit because I really like this question. But what if you could steal one item from any video game character? What would you take, and what would you use it on?
Rebellion. Don't ask me what I use it
on. Answer the question.
No, Rebellion, just to have it. I think I've always thought that sword was one of the coolest weapons in all of anime. All of gaming. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Sorry, Weeb Speak came out. But
love the Devil May Cry love.
I love Devil May Cry has always been before, I'll say like God of War is my favorite like video game of all time right now. But before that, Devil May Cry has always been like in my number one spot for so long.
Yeah.
Fuck Devil May Cry 2 and fuck DMC. So
You don't like DMC Devil
we
May
don't
Cry?
talk about that.
I mean, that was a good ass game. If you would have named it anything else, people would have looked fondly on that game.
You're not wrong, but they didn't. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I was gonna
Just
say,
play the game just play the game on mute. You don't even have to think about it.
But you see, subtitles exist, and I
Turn
can
'em
read.
off. Turn them off. That game had such good gameplay. Okay, but with those introductions out of the way, we have this one thing we always start with, and it is what you're playing. Is there anything you're currently playing? I know you haven't been gaming a lot lately.
What am I playing at the moment?
Any phone games or anything?
Just got through Elden Ring, or trying. Well, I'm on the Malekith at the moment in Elden Ring. Trying to get trying to buy the DLC. Just jumped back onto Tekken because they finally fixed my character, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Heihachi should still be dead. Unpopular opinion, but
He can be dead, but he's that boy got to come back as DLC.
But yeah, just Tekken, Elden Ring.
Nice. What about
Trying
you,
to
Jason?
get back into Monster Hunter, but
Yeah, I've been playing honestly quite a lot. The last 2 weeks, I was playing Throne and Liberty.
Yep.
I re-downloaded Overwatch too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I have a good time with that game.
oh, First Descendant. Forgot we're playing.
I downloaded First Descendant, started playing that. I deleted Zenless Zone Zero.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I hit the money gate, and I don't approve of them.
welcome to Gachas.
Yeah, no, I gave it a shot just to see if I could like it without the gotcha stuff, but the gotcha stuff does put a stinker hole on it. So. Other than that, I've been really replaying Resident Evil 4 Remake on my PC because anytime I'm in a like bored period, I just go back to that game. The action's just too fun. What about you, Troy?
Pretty much the same games. Anytime you and I are kind of in this phase right now where free games are coming out or betas are coming out and we're trying them out. For example, we just tried out the 3v3 Guilty Gear beta thing, which was weird. Parts of it were fun, parts of it were horrible.
Oh,
Yeah, so I hope that they can. It's almost like playing Smash with items. I feel like they need to turn the items off, and it might be a little bit more fun.
Yeah, imagine playing 8-player Smash with items.
sounds
kind of.
that's
how
fun.
it feels.
That's fun to me.
Yeah,
I'm
imagine.
one of the-
but take that if it wasn't fun.
I don't wait. Do you just like not have fun like having your hands off the controller, watching your character go doom 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 doom?
An 8-player Smash?
Yeah, that's like all that happens when you have items on an 8-player Smash.
I mean,
it's
we
a fucking
usually-
frenzy.
I guess. 8-player Smash is already a chaotic thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm one of those unpopular or people that with this unpopular opinion that Smash was originally a party game and should still be played as a party game and not just as a fighting game.
Yeah, I think that
So-
it being able to live in both realms is cool. And if you want to play this, you can't take away the times that I got into everybody made the cube with one small opening.
Yeah.
And you get in there with Pokeballs and all the items and blow each other up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you enjoy the party aspect, more power to you.
Yeah, I think Smash was definitely one of those games that started off as something and then people turned it into a highly competitive game and then it lost its luster for a lot of people for being a party game and those moments
the sales
where
would absolutely disagree with you.
I was going to say, I think that...
I'm
I
not
think that
saying like
both-
for everybody, but I'm saying like a lot of my friends I used to play like it's an intimidating thing when you're watching people like spiking everybody and it's like okay I don't want to play with this guy because we're trying to play this for fun kind of a thing. And it's like
I think that it's an interesting area or where that game exists where it has really high level play and it also is the kind of game that is supposed to be played casually.
Yeah.
It's like if you started playing like Mario Party professionally.
yeah
Like it was made for a bunch of people to enjoy and have a good time, turn their brain off, but people picked it apart and found that like, yo, Sakurai kind of knows how to make a fighting game, so
Yeah.
we're going to play the fighting game aspect of it. So, I hear you. But it's fun.
Honestly, I like that it has both. But it's always been like I've never really played it in the casual item sense. Ever even since as a kid, me and my like cousins always played no items.
It depends. We had a few different like game modes. One of them was definitely Pokeballs.
Yeah, see, like I'm hearing you do like that sounds fun, but like my family never.
we never
did that.
I didn't even consider Smash to be like a competitive thing until I moved out here and then met you for the first time, and watching you guys play it, I was like, you can do what with it now? And yeah, it just completely changed the whole game for me, which it was cool. Like I think it's fantastic that that people were able to do that, but I definitely think that for people that play it casually and then get introduced to people that play it competitively, it ruins it for those people. So
yeah, you got to definitely ask, how do you play this game professionally, or not professionally, but are you a sweat? Be like, yeah, I'm a sweat. Okay, I'm not gonna play with you.
Yeah,
yeah, that's fair. But now that we know what we've been playing, let's see what the world's been playing. It's time for bite-sized news. So I got 3 items as per usual for the docket here. The first news is, I hope I say this right, David Soliani leaves Ubisoft. If you don't know who that is, it's because it's kind of a deep cut. He was the developer, the main like producer for Mario and Rabbids, the Kingdom Battle.
What?
He's the one that was crying in the crowd when, yeah. So, but the thing is it was a mutual like leave. The entire Ubisoft team like shouted him out. They even did artwork for him with like him and Rayman hugging and stuff. So just really cool. Just wanted to shout it out that like everyone's looking forward to what he makes next, and that he was incredibly grateful to be able to work on, you know, such a big game for him.
Yeah,
as a fan. So shout out to you. Second piece of news: Victor, also known as Punk to God Wooly, wins Street Fighter Evo 2024. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting this one instead of the other winners absolutely deserve their flowers. But Punk's was a bit special because it broke a 2-decade-long streak of the USA never winning a Street Fighter Evo.
that's insane.
Yeah, so he broke that, and in an amazing set, too, against Big Bird.
One thing I wanted to comment on that, it was like you watch all the sets up to that one, and it was cool to see that it was grand finals, and both of the people, like, they have a good relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So there was, of course, there was sadness when Big Bird lost. You know, you could see it on his face. But while they were playing the match, they were having a great time.
Yeah.
You know, laughing and joking, like, oh, I can't believe you did that kind of stuff. And it took me back to, like, there's so much discourse and so much, like, pride and stuff that goes in the FGC, like, especially currently. And, I mean, that's ingrained in anything you're going to compete in.
Right.
It was really nice to see a couple of friends playing at such a high level for one of the biggest titles, and they're still just having a good time joking around. Like how I'm sure they started playing, you know, fighting games.
Yeah. No, it was incredible. Also, as a fan of Punk, it was so nice to see him get this redemption.
That match was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the last time he was at Grand Finals on the Evo stage was 2017 for Street Fighter V, and he lost to Tokido. And that's kind of always like hanged a shadow over him. So to see him finally beat it now 7 years later, I'm just like, way to go, man. Just nothing but props to you. Also, while that was a high note, this last bit of news is a sad note. Humble Games laid off its entire staff. Just completely shut down. Now, Humble Bundle still exists, but Humble Games was responsible for helping like publish and make a couple of these indies, like helping them get to the finish line.
Yeah.
So this really, really sucked, because like a lot of indies have been because of them.
Okay.
So
That's unfortunate.
yeah, but that's it for bite-sized news. That's what's happening in the world.
Oh, all right.
Digi games.
So I have a fun little game for our variety section. So I'm hoping that both of you are pretty knowledgeable in both your Monster Hunter and your Pokemon, because I decided to go with Jeopardy, and we're going to be, you know, taking two lovable monster genres and putting them together and asking you a couple questions.
It's a very interesting pair, but yeah.
Come on, it's just a bunch of monsters. So
Pretty sure the Monster Hunter monsters would eat the Pokemon monsters, but yeah.
I mean, except for one of those Pokemon are God. So
I mean, that's true.
So how this is going to go is, instead of giving you guys the exact section, so because I know you're more knowledgeable in Monster Hunter, you might be more knowledgeable in Pokemon. because you've been playing for a while, Aaron, and then Jason, you've been playing Pokemon for a while. I have 4 categories. I'm not going to tell you the title of the categories. We've got 1 through 500. So you will just pick category 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you won't know if it's Pokemon or Monster Hunter, and then pick, which one you want.
All right.
So let me get your points together. All right. And because you're the guest, Aaron, I'll let you go first.
3.
3? Okay. So do you want 1, 2, 3, 4, or 500?
500.
Okay. So this type has no effective advantage against other types, but is immune to dragon type moves.
What is immune to dragon type moves?
Yes. Again, this type has no effective advantage against other types, but is immune to dragon type moves.
Fairy?
Yeah. Nice.
I say the only one that's immune to dragons is a fairy.
Very good. Hold on, let me go ahead and give you the points.
It's not effective to anything?
Yeah, it is. It's super effective.
It's super effective against dragons.
Oh, did I read that wrong?
And should be super effective against dragons and darks.
Oh, well, I must have read that wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. That's what threw me off. I was like, wait, it's definitely fairy, but
when you said something's not effective, I was like, well, it has to be normal type. It's the only one
Yeah,
that
that-
doesn't have
that-
a
yeah.
super effective.
My bad.
normal fairy would work for no. Yeah, you're good.
All right, and then Jason?
I will take a category 4 500.
This rare item is used to upgrade high-level weapons and armor.
What is a gem? Or like an Elder Dragon gem?
Elder Dragon gems might be correct, but it's armor spheres?
Armor spheres.
Yeah. So I have to say no on that one because, you use the armor spheres to upgrade them.
Well, you use it to upgrade the defense level. But
Yeah.
For the armor, not the weapons, but yeah.
yeah, because you got to use the gear to craft that.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Alrighty.
All right. Aaron.
4 for 300.
This item provides a temporary boost to your attack power. And this is the biggest boost to your attack power.
Oh god. It's a demon potion, but I can't remember which one's stronger. There's not a super demon potion, is there?
No, and that's not what it's called. Should I'll let you steal. We'll go with steals.
What is Demon Drug?
Demon
But this
drug.
but it's the biggest one. I'll give you one more guess.
I thought, yeah. What is Mega Demon Drug?
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Perfect. Let me go ahead and give you the points. Yeah, it is the Mega Demon Drug. I was like, come on, you guys. We have to drink this shit every single time we fight a Latreon. You Mega Armor Skin and you Mega Demon Drugs. Okay, Aaron.
We'll do 2 300.
This type is effective against Ghost and Dark Pokemon.
Psychic.
Perfect, man. Dude, you know your Pokemon.
Nice.
Okay, and then Jason.
Category 1 for 500.
1 for 500?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, you're going for all the big hitters.
Yeah, I want to get them off the board.
This is known as the Elder Dragon of the End. This is the last boss of Monster Hunter World.
What is Fatalis?
Yes.
Yes.
That's an easy one. Why is that 500?
I actually worried. I was like, oh, the end of Monster Hunter World? I was like,
Maybe not
talking
everybody
DLC?
makes it there. You know what I mean? Okay, and then Eric.
We'll do 2 for 500.
2 for 500. Okay. 2 for 500 was already answered. Do you want to do 2 for 400?
Sure.
This type is weak against rock and steel, but strong against fire. This one's not strong against fire.
You said rock and steel?
Yeah, weak against rock and steel.
but strong against fire?
Not strong against fire.
Oh.
No, that's not strong against fire. Weak against rock and steel.
But strong against fire.
Not strong against fire. Not strong against fire. That's incorrect.
Just weak against rock and steel.
Yeah.
I actually don't know this one. It's not fighting, is it? Or it's definitely not flying.
Jason, any guess?
What is ice?
No, bug.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bug.
Yeah,
That
bug.
makes sense. I mean, they get squished. But
Yeah.
What a odd way. Okay.
All right, and then I'll give you two. I'll give both of you.
The fire messed me
Yeah,
up.
that's what I was like. This is now. So,
The fire.
Jason, you're sitting at 900. Aaron, you're sitting at 800. I'll give you both one more guess, and then if you guys tie it up, we'll do a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Okay.
What's left?
A lot.
I'll do category 400. Is that one still up?
Yes.
Okay.
This item allows you to summon a specific monster to aid you in battle. Now, this might be from one I did not play.
Oh.
No, remember this?
Oh, please tell me you didn't grab a question from the Monster Hunter writers or whatever. That summons a monster?
Yes, and I think this is one from that one.
Yeah, I didn't play any of those. I have no idea.
I
I was
mean,
gonna say a dunk. I know one that repels monsters. I don't think there's anything that trap. Oh,
wait, that brings in monsters?
Mm-hmm.
What is meat bait? Or
raw meat? No.
raw
So this looks like it might be from the ones we didn't play. It's Monster Broth. Monster
No,
Broth
that's an item and that's a crafting item in Monster Hunter.
and World.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from like a different one that we didn't play.
okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Because you have to farm that from the stupid bugs.
That's on me. I only played World and Ride.
That's all.
I didn't play the other ones. Yeah, if you tell me Monster Broth attracts monsters, I'm like, I would never fucking craft this thing.
I thought you played a bunch of them, so I was like, he should
I
know
have, but not the
this. I was like, I don't know these ones. He should know this one. All right, Aaron. So this is your chance to take the lead. So
what I'm at? You said I'm at 8.
yeah, you're at 8. Jason's at 9.
We'll do 3 for 200.
This region is known for its unique geographic feature, the Battle Frontier.
The Battle Frontier?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first Battle Frontier? It's whatever. It's what is Hoenn or what is Sinnoh, because they both had it.
Hoenn.
Okay.
Nice. So you win by 100 petty. Petty.
Nice. I knew the answer to that question too. I was like, what is Hoenn?
Yeah, sorry. I was trusting you guys to know a lot of these because I'm like, man, there's a lot that I did not play, but this looks, I think that they'll know it.
Yeah, when you said Battle Frontier, I was like, technically there was 2, because it showed up in Hoenn, the first one was in Emerald, and then they transitioned it over to Pearl,
Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
Okay.
So there's technically 2 regions, but
Okay. Well, that does it for the game. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the game that you brought to talk about today and some of the impressions that we've had in the recent games.
sounds good.
Welcome back from that brief little break. Hope you guys are all ready for some great discussions.
No.
As we get, well, all right. Well, one of us isn't ready. We're going to get right into impressions and into our lovely guest game that he brought today.
I was supposed to bring you a game. What are we playing?
Oh, geez.
Well, we'll get there. But I wanted to start with some impressions of some of the games that we've been playing this week, such as Throne and Liberty, which I briefly talked about in What You Playing. For those of you who don't know what Throne and Liberty is, it's an MMO RPG. It's more like a tap target one. So what that means is characters don't actually like recoil and take, like, there's not an action element to it. It's like if a turn-based RPG was in real time, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. But it was just in beta, so the game isn't officially out until September 17th, is what I believe. But what did you think of the beta, Troy? Because you played it with me.
So I enjoyed it. It gave me real, Arc Age vibes. I know that a lot of people have their reservations on the game. They say that it's not bringing enough to the table, but I mean, maybe I've been out of the MMO space for too long. I really like the presentation of the game. I don't mind the combat. I've played way worse combat, and I have also played better combat, but I think it's pretty good. I like that it's one of those games that allows you to have multiple weapons equipped. So kind of like Arcade, you have a series of actions that you can do, and those actions would use certain weapons that you have equipped. So you can go from hitting somebody with a greatsword and then immediately switch to using your bow and arrow if you have the skills and the weapon equipped. And so I like the flexibility a lot in the game. They also did what most MMOs don't do, and that is have options for people like me when it comes to character creation. That's nice. But yeah, I think that it's a game that I'm happy I tried the beta because it got me more excited to play it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where I really enjoyed it. I was actually more shocked to go online and see that a lot of people didn't seem to have that same positive experience.
Yeah.
I didn't really run into any issues with the game. I also am a little bit not knowledgeable about the MMO genre. I've really only played Final Fantasy XIV, a bit of RuneScape, and Guild Wars 2. So that's really my experience with MMOs. So playing something like Throne and Liberty felt honestly kind of like a great marriage between the two games. I found the combat to be more in depth than Guild Wars for me, but it also still had the flash a bit of Final Fantasy 14. I still think it's flashier in 14. It's hard to beat Final Fantasy's flashiness.
Yeah,
but I really liked that it was a bit of both. I really liked the 2-weapon system. I used the greatsword and the magic staff.
Yeah.
So I'd just be hurling fireballs, and then as the opponent's getting burned, I'm just flying in there with a gut sword, being like, time to slash. And they also, greatsword's fast, so they really made it way more cool.
Yeah,
it didn't feel as slow as most games that rock a greatsword, which aren't bad. But I enjoy the kind of anime-ishness of it, of being able to swing a sword like that so quick. I also do think the graphics were beautiful. I think that game is just very pretty to look at, and the character creator was fun. And I think the other thing that I loved probably the most about Throne and Liberty is that the story... So, before I get ahead of myself, I don't think the story is that good itself, the narrative, but I like the presentation of it. In the cutscenes, your created character is the star. They are the one who are animating. They're actually performing actions, which if you've ever played Guild Wars or Final Fantasy, you know that normally your character just makes stock faces as a emotional response to something, or they just kind of do a normal animation. So seeing fully animated cutscenes featuring my created character was a real treat in this game, and something I didn't expect. But did you have any complaints about the game or critiques that you think that they should work on?
Yeah, I think that performance-wise, I think it can be touched up. I think that there are certain things that were a little jarring when going into specific areas, or teleporting, for example, was jarring. And I think that there's things that that can be smoothed out. I like the voice acting. It's normally really, really bad. This time it wasn't. It was okay. It was passable.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they really need to change much there. That's normally the first thing I say when it comes to MMOs is the voice acting is really, really bad. But yeah, aside from smoothing things out, I still think that there's a lot for me to see in the game before I can judge what needs to be changed. We never got to try a dungeon or anything like that out, so I don't even know if the game has dungeons.
Yeah. To be honest, I really didn't have very many complaints about the game. Really any at all that I can think of, because I just ended up enjoying it. I do think the teleporting's a little jarring, but I kind of liked it, how you would go flying and then
I like the animation, but when it would load from your person teleporting away to somewhere else, it loading in that space was a little jarring.
I wonder if that, because I didn't have that much of a jarring experience with it. I wonder if it was just a difference in PC. But because I was going to say performance, I didn't really have any issues performance wise with that game. Once Human drops more frames for me than Throne and Liberty did.
Okay, I did play it at an uncapped frame rate, so maybe that could be it.
That could be
I
it.
don't play at 60.
I play at 60, so that I didn't really experience anything weird about that. But I also cheat. I have a very high-end PC that's, like, new. So I'm glad that you were able to, that should get called out. So I hope they fix that.
Yeah, our PCs are pretty similar. We have, almost the same graphics card, so if it's...
Yeah, it's usually, but our CPUs are different.
Yeah,
because whenever a game is, CPU locked, you experience more issues than I do on it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if maybe it's a CPU limited issue.
That might be what's causing the loading. So,
yeah.
But that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm pretty excited for the game to come out in September. Any closing thoughts before we move to the next game? Sweet. All right, next game is Once Human. Have you played this one, Hades?
Nope.
He tried.
I did try.
Oh, you did? Oh, wait, yeah, I remember you were in the chat. Yeah, that did
PC,
not work for you.
PC apparently does not like this game. It's the first game in a while that my computer just said, nope, we're not going to load it. It's going to crash every time you try.
Man, that's sad.
Yeah, I haven't tried it recently, just because I really haven't had the time, but I'm sure my PC was just doing something weird, but I've run worse on it, so it should be able to do it. But.
Yeah, no, it should run. It's not a bad game. I feel like so many things happened around when that game released that I didn't get to really sink my teeth into it. I currently like the aesthetic a lot. It's got this weird control vibe to it where it's what would you call that?
Sci-fi fantasy?
It's like sci-fi fantasy,
but it's not
dark.
futuristic. It's more kind of modern, but a little futuristic.
Yeah, there's a word for it. I got to figure it out. But it's I think the tone and everything is really good. I think that it's ambitious with a lot of the camera work that the game does. Similar to Throne and Liberty. There's I've seen a lot of ambition in these games where I have to commend him on that. Voice acting is terrible.
Yeah, that one
is very bad. But it's okay. There's other languages that you can put it in. I think that it's also ambitious the amount of actions you can do with melee combat. I was surprised how deep the melee combat is. It's not like, you're going to be doing crazy combos, but you've got executions, finishers at the end of your combo. If you kill somebody with a melee attacks, you've got jump attacks, you've got charged attacks, both on the ground and jumping. So the gameplay was far more in depth than I expected. It's like if you took what was it? What was that Tom Clancy game we used to play?
The Division?
Yeah, like The Division. Took The Division and mixed it with H1Z1.
Yeah, no, that's actually is pretty spot on. I was gonna say I haven't really sank too much time into the game. I've played a lot with you and Matt, and then a little bit on my own. I've liked the game, but I do find it a little directionless currently. Like when I log on, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff telling us what to do, but it's a cluster of items telling you build this, build that, build this, and it's a bunch of different things at once. And I think it needs to be condensed into one quest line with just one action at a time. There's just too many things showing up in the top left screen. There's a lot of information on the screen in general in that game. So I can understand that feeling.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I haven't moved forward progress-wise, but I have killed a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is that I like this game. The game feels very good. And I really like the creature design and the vibe of the game. But whenever the main quest comes up and it's showing hey, build this, and then the next quest thing is build more, and I'm and then I see a monster in the background. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna go to kill that thing.
Speaking of the creatures, I think that they come out the gate really well with a lot of interesting creature designs. In the tutorial, you have to fight a giant with a giant tower on their head.
Yeah, like a radio tower.
A radio tower on their head, and we come across what was it? Even near where we originally set our first settlement, we had a boss that we had to fight that had a giant flower head. And it had interesting mechanics. You drop it to its feet and then you can shoot it in the head for extra damage. And even more so, they had a fucking weird demented cat bus of sorts where you...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they have a lot of interesting creatures. So, yeah, it makes me excited to play more of the game.
Yeah. I really hope, like, I'm still determined to keep playing it. I just hope that, like, the main quests stop being build shit. That
I don't think it'll ever stop with these kind of games.
they're always just about building.
Like it is, the guide is telling you to build things so that you can get more, not only resources but access to more mechanics throughout the game. So it's your job to kind of go out and do things. There will most likely be additional quests to go and do. Like, hey, there's a dungeon. Now it's time to go do the dungeon so you can get the rewards for that. But the main quest is most likely always going to be to build the next thing
Sounds
so
like
that you can.
Sounds like the forest where you you get dropped into a sandbox. You need to do whatever you need to do, and then you find your objectives.
Your objectives. You kind of like find the exploration is the extra stuff, which I honestly like these types of games because it allows you to build up a really cool structure with a bunch of different mechanics, kind of like how you did in Pal World. We had a whole system going with like I almost called them Thames. You had pals going around and doing their jobs and whatnot, and then it's your job to go explore and see what the world has to offer and kind of aimlessly wander. Instead of having like, hey, this is your next primary objective, you just pretty much do this, and this, and then like you just go in a straight line until you're done with the game, and then the extra stuff you do if you decide to, but the main quest is more interesting, so you only do that. I do like the kind of aimless exploration, so we'll see. I think we need to play a little bit more of it, see what it has to offer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if it's really just building and then like I guess like challenging myself to go and fight the things that I see in the distance or look for fun, I guess that just might not be a genre that speaks to me, but I'll give it a try as I continue.
Yeah, I think that it's one that I'm actually excited that you're a PC gamer now, because there's going to be a bunch of different game styles that you're going to get to play, this being one of them. I can't remember the genre, but these type of sandbox games,
they're usually survival
I'm pretty
games.
sure
survival
that's
yeah, sandbox survival games. Yeah, you just kind of go out and experience the world, and that's normally the fun is, hey, what's that over there? Let's go find out what that does and see what resources it has to offer.
Majority of those games do not give you any kind of direction. You're gonna have to just find it and piece it together and then go from there. I mean, even Elden Ring to a degree is kind of, you don't build anything in there, but you kind of just follow.
That's true. It's
but it guides you.
It guides you with the it lightly guides you.
The graces.
Yeah, but like it's not like in your face, here's what you need to do. It gives you like, hey, there's a grace, this is where you should go, but we're not going to tell you what's over there. That's the direction you should be going.
Yeah, a lot of people I know that played Elden Ring for the first time, they didn't. It doesn't tell you to follow the graces, or like the map or like the graces point to where you need to go. You find a grace and then you go into a direction, and it's like you figure out the story, and then you have to talk to all the NPCs to figure out what to piece together all of the story. So
but I kind of like that because it we play so many games that are constantly in your face telling you what you need to do. Having that namelessness kind of adds to the immersion.
I agree.
I don't mind I guess for me, like, the difference is like the aimlessness in Elden Ring is like there's still a narrative, but you're just not directed on it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in Once Human. Like, is there, like, with survival games, that's like the main question, is there an end? There is an end to Elden Ring.
Usually, at least I know with the forest, there's an ending. I couldn't tell you what it is because I never got it, but
so it depends on the game, because the forest seems like it has more underlying narrative than most
I don't know
of the
about
games.
Pal World.
Yeah, those are mainly like, hey, the experience is, this is a sandbox for you to kind of live in and play, and the mechanics are for you to experience and sort of do with what you will
until you get bored and then turn the game off.
Yeah, until you get bored. And the hope is that they keep the mechanics interesting, so you don't want to turn the game off. You get that craving to jump back in that world and do stuff and create. Like Valheim. Valheim the story was kill these bosses and get strong enough to kill these bosses. Outside of killing those bosses and coming to this one spot to summon them to fight them, you do whatever you want. And so you build a house, you get on the lake, you go find things, you go like, oh, what is this? We just showed up at a swamp. Let's go in here and see what these caves have to offer.
Yeah.
So
I mean but that's still like a narrative of like killing the bosses. That fits more into like what Elden Ring would be, which is go be Elden Lord. How? Kill demigods, kill gods, kill everything. I guess like that's what I'm like wondering is like what Once Human wants me to do. I just don't know about like the bosses.
Yeah.
Like if there's like some world goal that's like, hey, there's like 4 Titan monsters that you need to kill.
Yeah, I don't think we know yet.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for, that kind of thing, because I think that like I would probably drop off fast if like it's just about getting like activities and then going and then trying to find the fun in there. But that's just me. Again, this is my first experience with survival, so I'm having fun. But
Fair enough.
All right. Last game before we get to your game, Hades, and I know you played this one because you were one of the reasons I downloaded it. The First Descendant.
Yeah. So I do want to start with you, Aaron. How have you felt like that game so far?
It's interesting. I like the design of all the characters. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
The key reason I even jumped onto it to begin with. But that and it's free. But I don't know. For where we're at right now, there's not a lot to it. Like, I feel like we're doing a lot of the same quests over and over again, which is kind of boring. I think all the... What are they called?
The Descendants?
Is it Descendants?
Yeah.
Okay. All the Descendants, all their abilities are pretty unique and interesting.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I haven't seen... Like, all the enemy types are pretty much the same.
Yeah. I'd have to say I agree that the most interesting thing about the game in the drive is, for me, the Descendants and the boss fights.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things I like the most.
Yeah, in the short time I've played, those have been the 2. No, I'd say 3 highlights is like I actually like the enemies because I like blowing their heads up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the bosses because of their mechanics. I hot take, I like them more than Destiny bosses. Right off rip, because this game, if you don't know what First Descendant's like, it's Destiny but free to play.
Yeah.
And instead of having like a class, you pick a descendant, so it's more character based instead of class based.
Yeah.
The third thing, and I think one of the most key like unique parts of this game, is the grappling hook.
Yeah. That grappling hook is... I love that they gave every character access to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's universal throughout the cast, and the physics behind it are fun and not too... Like, it could have easily just been a, what do you call it? A contextual thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. You can grapple onto pretty much anything and have fun.
Yeah. Being able to grapple onto enemies is kind of it's the main reason I like it more than Destiny in terms of like boss designs, is because there's a lot of enemies that you're meant to like shoot, and then it opens up a spot for you to grapple hook on, and
play Monster
Hunter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be real. I really like that. I do feel what you're saying though, Aaron, with the mission design. It is very tedious.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been having fun with my character's ability that it hasn't gotten boring yet, but I can see it becoming boring down the road.
It's just, I don't want to say like it's gotten like too boring, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like I put it on, like I can play for like a few hours, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, and then I'm over it. So my attention span isn't thriving off of it. The voice acting is awful. There's no hiding
it's
that.
terrible.
It's so bad.
There's this character you talk to who's the equivalent of like Destiny's, I think it's the speaker.
Yeah.
And he is just a dude with the most modulated voice. It is frustrating to speak to him.
See, I keep
even the guest or whatever her name is.
The guest,
or whatever her name is. Yeah, when she talks, it's like they just told the voice actor to just monotone the entire thing. I was like,
dude, she's AI. She has
100%.
has to be AI. It sounds too much.
Majority of them have to. It seem like they're all AI. Like the Descendants, when they're doing their like voice acting, they don't sound real. Like I said, I do enjoy all the Descendants abilities. Right now, I'm trying out Blair and Freya, I think's her name, the poison chick.
Yeah,
I play Blair.
But I think my biggest complaint, and I know that this is a free game, but I feel like they should make it easier to get the Descendants. Because there's so many of them, but you have to like, if you don't want to pay the money to get them, you have to like go out and like collect their shards and everything like that. And that, like, they're not very, what's the word? They're not very forthtelling about like where you can get them or like how you can get them and things like that. So
yeah, I think just like Destiny's, how they handle, we'll call them mats, like materials. It's very convoluted.
Yeah.
It's a convoluted process, and so it could be hard to tell right from the get-go what you need to do to get your character. Therefore, because of the confusion, you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to buy them because that's the best way to get to it. And yeah, that I have that gripe towards the game also, but it is free to play. So if they're asking me for, $10-15 to play their game, I'm not too mad.
No, and I mean, everyone has their own like opinions. It's like, it's a free game. Like I'll spend the amount of money I spend on like an actual game to be able to actually play it, which is whatever. But I'm like, when you're charging for characters and you're charging for skins and you're charging for emotes and everything like that, it's like, okay, the cosmetic stuff makes sense, but like, at least for people that can't afford to waste money like that, I think it should be easier to get your cast of characters, and that's just my opinion on that. But or at least you should have a better idea of how to get the characters.
Yeah.
No, I actually agree with that. So I found out that the Descendants aren't also equally priced.
No.
And I think that threw me off. But I also think that, like, if that's the case, they should make it a lot easier to get, like, the 300. The cost of it is, like, based on, like, the tokens that you can buy. Yeah. And there's, like, 300 is the one that I bought my character for, which ended up being about $10. There's characters, though, that require 900 just to buy, and that's not with skins or anything. That, to me, is, like, really weird.
I'd like to know.
I'm wondering, like, is that a balance reason? Like, are they just better?
I want to know what it is that makes a character cost more money than another character. Is it, like you said, power, or is it fun factor? Mm-hmm. And if it is fun factor, it's like, damn, you knew this character was more fun, so you made us pay more money for him.
Right.
So I haven't worked through to unlock a character from start to finish yet, aside from Bunny, which you get very easily. So I think I'll have a more concrete feeling on how I feel about it once I've worked through unlocking a character. Yeah. And they do give you Bunny, who is the best character to use to unlock characters. She has the best clear time. Yeah. Period. So they give you a tool to grind out who you want. So let's see how strong that tool is.
Yeah. So I mean, they show you in the beginning like how to unlock the characters, because how you unlock Bunny is how you unlock all of the characters by getting their pieces or whatever. But it's very clearly just randomized. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of this stupid trend with free games where it's like they want you to pay for their in-game currency instead of just earning their in-game currency, which I'm just not for anymore. I think a lot of the Hoyoverse games are starting to do that more frequently.
Those are gotchas, brother.
I mean, but I'm like, these games are free, and like people are trying to play them, and it's like I play like all the Cypress games or whatever, Grand Blue and Dragalia Lost, when that was the round, you were able to grind out the materials you needed to do your pulls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, you play all these gacha games, or you play all these like games like First Ascendant. It's like, oh, we just want you to pay for this currency, so you can't like earn it while you're playing the game. And it adds that, I don't know, it adds a stink for me. So because it's like, if you want me to use this, I should be able to earn it, if that makes sense. Or grind it.
Free to play games are also just kind of weird. They're in a weird spot for me.
I don't really like, in my opinion, I don't really like free to play. I like discounted games. So if a game is going to have mechanics like, hey, we have a currency that we want you to use to get things, I think the best way to convince somebody to do it, to pay for it, is here's a way to earn the currency. Yeah. And it's definitely possible. We're not going to make it too bad so that it's like an insult to you, but it is going to be something you have to work for, because I mean, we made the game and we worked our asses off, so you kind of have to put some work in too.
Yeah, I really think it's like a very weird mindset to believe that you should be able to play a game completely for free for 60 hours and not like
give the developer anything.
Not give the dev anything. That's just kind of a weird it's just like a kind of weird mindset to me. Like,
yeah, unless something that has to do with having a high player base helps the developer monetarily in some way, So the only time I'm really okay with that is
I think games like Overwatch too are like where I find it to be fine with the free to play because gameplay is never hindered by payment.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah. I do have problems with how much they charge for their skin, but I get to play a game that people put thousands of hours in without having to spend a penny. And I'm not limited from playing against anyone else. Like I get all the heroes, I get everything, so it's kind of weird.
And they make the money off of the events and things that they hold surrounding the game. Mm-hmm. So it makes a little bit more sense when you play a team-based or some type of some type of like competitive game. It makes a little bit more sense when it's free to play because they're going to be making money off of the events that surround the game when you pay the money to enter in a tournament to play that game. So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you play just a regular sit-down action game with your friends.
Yeah, because like even I don't have the answers for First Descendant. Like I want the characters to be easier to unlock, but I also like wonder at like what point should I expect to play? Because this is an action RPG. This is a game that I normally would spend $60 to $70.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So like, why would I be mad at them that they need me to spend some money?
Yeah. Because how are we going to get the developers motivated and paid to make the game better if they're not getting anything out of it?
You're never going to get better mission structure if they don't have the money to fund making better missions.
And I mean, like I said, like playing there's always going to be the people that are going to spend like the money for whatever, like the Ultimate Bunny skins or whatever. Like people are going to spend the $50 to get like the cosmetic shit. But I don't know. There's also I think there's a group of people that just don't want to spend the extra money just to be able to unlock a character that they want to play because they really only give you whatever character you pick out of the 3 in the beginning, and then it's Bunny. And then if you don't want to buy a character, you have to go find their parts or whatever, and then grind those out. And it's just the game's already tedious with its level structure. The last thing you want to do is have a tedious grind system to make you unlock a character that you want to play. Because by the time you unlock that character, you now have to level that character back up. Yeah, and it just becomes this annoying game of okay, I did all this work. Where's the real benefit for it? And
the gameplay has to be addicting enough for you to want to do that, to be motivated.
It's sadly not.
It's sadly not. It's good gameplay. It's really good gameplay. I actually like the way the Descendants feel and their abilities feel. Yeah. But not to the point where I'm motivated to do that. I don't really like the game being free to play. I just wish it were like a $30 game, and like you said, the currency needed to get a character was all you really needed to get somebody, and that was grindable. And maybe you can limit it on like you can get a certain amount a day or something based off of these activities, or you go do your daily activities, which give you a huge amount. You know, kind of like gotchas do. You go get a huge chunk from your daily activities, and then you can kind of like grind out the little bits that you can through playing the game.
Yeah, I think if it's tedious to get like in-game currency, it is what it is. But like to be able to unlock characters to play your game, I think that's where the motivation starts to die out. And I feel like that a lot of games are doing that nowadays, and it's really weird to me. Yeah, at least a lot of free games are doing that nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's just rough for them. But anywho, we'll end up talking about live services forever if we don't move on. So let's bring your game. What'd you bring with us to us today, Aaron?
Well, you see, we're gonna play this lovely game called. No, I'm just kidding. I don't game I always love. It's always either Monster Hunter or God of War, but I feel like I can talk about God of War till the end till I die. So yeah.
Which one?
God of War, all of them.
Okay. So first question: What is the What was the first when is the first time you played God of War?
I was 15, I want to say. My friend let me borrow God of War 2. Didn't really understand I knew the story because G4 had always done documentaries on the first game or whatever. So when the second game came out, it was a big deal. So my friend let me borrow the second game, and just I was already a big Greek mythology nut. Name's Hades. But playing through that and just seeing Kratos' interactions with the gods and the heroes that we were studying at the time, it was a really cool experience. And the game was I just got through playing through Devil May Cry, so it was a different hack and slash feel than any game I had played at that time. And just again seeing Kratos just going through and beating the Sisters of Fate and like getting to Zeus and that giant battle on the mountaintop was just peak video game to me.
Yeah. I have another question. Well, I have two questions. First off, we talked about mechanics that should be better represented, and we talked about parries. But another thing that I think that a lot of games don't have, which we get in God of War, is executions.
Yes,
they come and even more so, the executions from God of War that had gameplay influence.
Yeah,
like I remember there was like a centaur. You jump on him and you hold him and you can ride him and hurt people while you kill him, or like you jump up on the birds. And to get from point A to point B, they want you to jump up, kill a bird, jump from a bird to another bird, kill that bird. And so them having mechanically or affecting the game mechanically with their executions was always something I liked a lot in God of War.
Yeah, that was honestly one of my favorite things about God of War because everything was so unique in how you killed a type of enemy.
Yeah.
So like you didn't kill anything the same unless they were a similar like so like you would kill Medusa, you'd kill the Gorgons, they would all die. You turn everything to stone. You would kill not the Scorpions, the Cyclopses. You're riding them while you're gouging its eyes out. So everything was very unique with God of War, and I think that they developed it really well. I am definitely one of the people where I think the story is just vengeance. It's just a vengeance boner, but at least for the first 3 games. But other than that, I think the game was developed really fantastic. Yeah,
it was a big deal when they went to like God of War for PS4.
Yeah,
and they made that shift to a deeper, more serious story. I mean, I won't say more serious, but a deeper story with a character that they're trying to have grow now, especially with the past that he has.
Yeah.
When you first played God of War PS4, did you feel like they did his character justice? Did you not like the change that they'd made for him?
I love the change. Honestly, I tell everybody this. I'm like, if you think that the first 3 God of War or the first 3 games Kratos better than the last 2 games, you're crazy, because Kratos' character was just this rageful monster that just wanted to kill everything. He didn't really have he had a rhyme or reason, but there was nothing really driving him other than just his rage. Where in the new games, he's trying to be better. He's trying not to be what he used to be. He's trying to show his son that there's a better path. He's trying to basically show all of these people that yeah, I am what I am, but I want you to leave me alone. And I feel like I know the original developer made a big stink about it. Like, he didn't like how he thinks Kratos. I forgot how he worded it, but he doesn't like how Kratos looks weak in this new realm.
David Jaff's weird. Come on.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think from people that experience a lot of struggles with trying to deal with stuff that they did in their past and are trying to move forward, I think Kratos really represents that really well.
Yeah.
And especially in the newest games where he's I haven't played through all of Valhalla, but I know a majority of it, and he's forced to confront his past selves a lot, and I think they do a fantastic job of that.
So with you liking the way that they evolved the character, how do you feel about the gameplay? Because it's very, very different. It's hella influenced by Dark Souls and the new God of War.
Truthfully, I kind of like it better.
Really?
I do miss the hack and slash features, especially with because in this game and with the new ones, I very rarely use the Blades of Chaos. They just don't feel the same as they did in the old games.
Yeah, I have a question about. Continue what you're saying. I have a question on that.
But with the axe and even the spear and the in Ragnarok, I feel like the game just it flows really well, and the shield parries are some of my favorite things to do. But no, I think it adapted pretty well.
Yeah, so it seemed like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the original God of War games, the first couple, it was a big deal to constantly get new weapons or equipment to work with. In the newer game, it feels like they toned that back a lot.
Yes.
With God of War PS4, you only get the Blades of Chaos, and then in the God of War Ragnarok, you get the Draupnir spear.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like they do you like or dislike the change on getting less pieces of equipment and items that change your gameplay?
So it's with the old God of Wars, you got all these different weapons and stuff like that, and it played like a Devil May Cry game where you upgraded the weapons, you got different combos, stuff like that. I feel like if you were to throw all of that into like the 2004 to whatever God of War and God of War Ragnarok, it would just make the game too crazy.
I mean, perspective is everything too, because you're over the shoulder, so you're not doing Devil May Cry combos anymore.
No, and it's like the old God of Wars were all like top down for the most part.
Yeah.
So it was like all the flashiness of it was spread out. Where in the, like you said, it's over your shoulders, so like you're watching Kratos, and if you, I don't know, if he were to whip out this giant like chain thing out of nowhere, it would just look weird.
Yeah.
And plus, I think there'd be too much like because it wasn't even an issue in God of War 3, because I think that's the game you get the most weapons in, where you just didn't use a majority of them because you had too many of them.
How did you use to switch weapons in the old God of War as opposed to using the D-pad in this one?
I think it was the D-pad.
Was it the same?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you just cycled through them.
Truthfully, after my torment of God of War 3, I haven't played any of the old games in years, so I couldn't tell you exactly like how like what buttons did what anymore. But I can definitely tell you like by the time I got, at least in 3, by the time I got Hercules, the knuckles, I can't remember what they're called.
The Lion's Gauntlets,
yeah,
I think.
Sure. The gauntlets, and then the chains of Hades, I stopped using anything else.
Yeah.
Like even the electric ones you get from Hephaestus, they're basically just a weaker version of the blade, like or more combo version of the blades or the chains of Hades, and I'm still just like, nope, just gonna keep summoning these things until they.
I think the only thing that, because I like the God of War franchise as well. I think the only thing I miss from the old games that didn't translate into 4 and Ragnarok was the executions. It's the only thing that I felt was very.
You still have them, but
weak compared
you still have them in the new games, but they're definitely not the same.
They're
thing.
toned back.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that I feel like are toned back, and other things that they are. How do I say this? Certain things that took a back seat, and other things that took a front seat in the like revisioning of the way that God of War works.
Because there are definitely some executions in the new games where it's just like you still get that like button mashing, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna grab you, I'm gonna keep punching you in the face, and I'm just gonna rip your jaw off, kind of a thing, which is still one of the best executions.
I was gonna say, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Do they still? So in the new God of Wars, do they still use? Because it's been a little bit since I played it.
Yeah.
Do they still have mechanical influence when you do kills?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
trolls you can ride around.
The trolls are the only thing you can ride around in, and really the wolves are the only thing that you get like grab and just like punch the shit out of. But everything else, it's just like a simple like, oh, I'm gonna pop you up, chop you in half.
But it's just a kill. It doesn't do something like, hey, I take you, kill you, and then throw you. You explode.
Some of them, the eyeballs you grab. Like if you grab them, you can chuck them at people.
Okay.
But like, definitely nothing like with the Gorgons. Like you kill it, turn you rip its head off, turn everything into stone. Can't think of another creature in God of War like the Cyclopses, but you have the trolls.
Yeah, the trolls, and they all die by the same
thing. Pull
their weapon on them.
Yeah. So, but I also feel like in the new games you have more creature types, so like there's more mechanics to worry about in like.
See, I didn't feel that, but it's been a while since I've played 3. But I remember just having like a ton of enemies to fight in 3.
It's like you get like. So, I mean, like, in 3, you got, like, the Gorgons, you get the standard, like, skeleton, like, the undead warriors.
You get the
the harpies. But I don't, like, I feel like even in, like, you get the Dropners in 4 and Ragnarok, you get the dragons. Like, the dragons are a whole mechanic by themselves.
Isn't there just, like, one that you fight?
Not in Ragnarok. Ragnarok, there's, like, 6.
I forgot the dragons.
Yeah, yeah, the dragons are a whole big thing. The
Valkyries, right?
The Valkyries, the Ghost Knights. I can't remember those.
Seems like
Berserkers.
Definitely seems like the mechanical depth of the enemies has been expounded.
100%.
So the enemies themselves are deeper rather than having a wealth of like just random enemies to fight against. Yeah. So, and talking more about the weapons, is there any type of any weapon type that you would want to see return in some form from the old games to the next God of War?
Truthfully, no. I think the blades. I think the way that the game system. I was honestly surprised that they even gave us the spear. Truthfully, but which was neat. Once you had it, it was like, okay, like it makes Spartan. You have a shield, like shield spear made sense.
Yeah.
You only really got it in the fucking not Chained as Olympus. What was the other one? Ghost of Sparta. It was the first time he ever got like an actual like Spartan shield and spear. But the way that they built the games, I honestly think those 3 weapons are all that you really need. Because at that point,
weapons.
Because at that point, I mean, it would be nice. I know you get the Blade of Olympus and Valhalla as like a rage thing. Like that would have been cool to maybe get like an actual sword. But outside of that, no, not really. Because everything else that in God of War would just translate kind of the same way that the other weapons work.
Yeah, I don't think they'll bring the Draupnir spear back. I think that they'll swap that for a different weapon in the next game. So I can't see them ever getting rid of his Blades of Chaos.
No, even in lore, those are with him forever. So
yeah, they're forever stuck with him.
So, and I don't think he'll ever get rid of the axe. So,
okay.
I do wonder about the axe. I feel like if they change the gameplay again, they might get rid of the axe. But who knows?
I think it has to. I think like the Blades of Chaos, it has too much of a what's the word I'm looking for? Now it's like it's more of a sentimental thing because it's his wife's. Because that's the only thing I will really complain about with the new games is that they don't really focus about Kratos' old family a lot.
Yeah.
They don't focus why he's like the goat, like why he's considered to be the Ghost of Sparta. They just know that he killed a pantheon. It's like he did a lot more than that, and like Atreus like kind of knows that he had a little sister and like a stepmom, but he doesn't. And I feel like that wasn't explored deep enough because that was a big thing for a long time. It's like people knew who he was because he wears the ash of his dead wife and his child on his skin, and like the fact that he remarried, like he had for some people the audacity to remarry and have another kid, like while he's literally bound with the ashes of his former family. I think that's something that I wish, because I know in Ragnarok when he's talking with Freya, there's an interaction that they both talk about like his former daughter Penelope. I don't think I said it right. And they talk about it then, but they still don't talk about like the fact that he's wearing her.
Yeah.
And I think that was a missed opportunity.
Talking about his family, how do you feel about his relationship with Atreus? Like, do you like it? Do you feel like it felt forced because of, we're kind of in an era where there's like the dad and the kid combo seems like it's going to be pretty popular.
In the first game, I think it was done really well. Kratos not really understanding how to be a dad because he really doesn't. And trying to like raise his son differently than like how he was raised essentially, or like try to get him in a different like mindset than just like, oh, like you don't need to know that you're a god. Like we're trying to you don't need to fight. So, like we need to like basically keep to ourselves kind of a thing. And then just throughout the game, like him realizing that the way that he was doing it was wrong and like trying to raise him better. I definitely think that was done better in the first game. In the second game, I honestly could not stand Atreus. So
yeah, dude.
I
hated what they did to him because I loved that kid in the first game, and then like they turned him into a snotty teenager, and I was like, oh,
I think the best thing that happened to me with Atreus at the end of the game was when he left. When he left, and I was like, "Don't be in the sequel. See you, kid."
They max goofed him, dude.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with like the gameplay. Like I thought it was cool that they gave you the ability to play as him, but like the constant like. Oh,
his toolkit was so simple. It was
it was boring. It was
boring.
I thought it was cool. I hated every time I switched to Atreus. I'm like, please let me go back to Kratos.
So
please let me go back to Kratos.
That's another question I had is with them having you switch back and forth between him and Atreus. Do you think that that's something that's going to be happening in future games with him and other characters, like something they're going to explore?
I hope not.
I did not like it.
It worked with this just because Atreus was gone, like doing his own thing. So it was like for a story purpose, it made sense. But unless Atreus is going to be in the because they're talking about exploring other pantheons now. So unless Atreus is going to be exploring that with Kratos, there's really no point for them to do that unless Kratos has another kid for some strange ass reason, which at that point we're knocking on a dead horse. But I didn't think they did. I don't want to say they did it terribly, but I don't think that it was done good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I thought it was done at a passable level.
Yeah.
Because I thought highly of the game as I played through it.
Yeah.
But kind of like one of my complaints with like Ragnarok was that I didn't feel inspired to like replay it.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt because of like Atreus too. Like after the first segment with him, I was like, that was okay. And then I played the second. I was like, no new moves, huh?
Yeah, I kept thinking that he was probably going to grow.
That was my biggest issue.
Yeah, with him being simple, it was like, okay, you're taking me away from Kratos and giving me a simplified character. While I like the environment that I am in and the combos that you're trying to make him have with his partner, what was her name?
Angrboda?
Angerboda.
Yeah.
Angerboda. I liked the visual spectacle of those two working together.
Yeah.
But yeah, having him be a simplified character was, I would have preferred to have a full character.
Yeah, I also don't like. I think the biggest thing about Ragnarok that I think that they really flopped was it was the actual Norse mythology stuff. Because I was like, okay, some of the gods are kind of like are interesting. The weird thing that they did with Tyr is kind of bizarre, but whatever. But they really didn't like because Loki's supposed to be like this huge part of Ragnarok, and it really felt like Atreus was just more like, I'm just trying to figure out like how to like bring back the giants, and it's like you're not really starting Ragnarok or doing anything to like increase it or anything like that. And then Fenrir was also just I think the biggest disappointment in the entire fucking show, because it's like, yes, the wolf that's supposed to kill Odin is a pet who doesn't do anything to Odin.
Yeah, I felt, to be completely honest, I was a little let down by the finale of Ragnarok. But but we're not here to just talk about Ragnarok.
No, so I did have one question with you speaking, or one last question, one final question with you speaking on this pantheon and them exploring other pantheons. What is a new place that you'd like to see Kratos in? Like, where would you like to see him going forward?
The only place that would do anything would probably be the Egyptian pantheon, the one that they're talking about doing next.
Hella agree. Sick.
I can't think of like the other pantheons. I couldn't see them really deep diving much into it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Athena has a bigger role in this because she's clearly still alive. And I was upset that she didn't have any role in Ragnarok. Cause I thought her appearance when Kratos was getting the Blades of Chaos was needed, and it would have been cooler to see her interact with Odin and like trying to like screw over Kratos. I think that would have been a better story perspective. But I think Egyptians are really the only, like, I guess you could technically do like Indian gods or whatever, but I don't think that would translate.
Egyptian, Indian, and Chinese. I think fighting a bastardized version of Sun Wukong would be pretty cool.
Kratos would. I don't think God of War would translate well with the Chinese pantheon, but not really.
What?
Just the way that even like the Japanese pantheon, is just the way that they're not really. What's the word, like combat heavy? If that makes sense.
Combat focus.
I just dude, Sun Wukong like fights with.
That's it though. Like Sun Wukong and like Susanoo would be like the only like real challenge. I mean, they would obviously change the story up to fit whatever narrative they need to. But like when you read the folklores and everything like that, they're not really fighting each other.
Yeah, but taking that out of account, because I know that they would do what they could to make it fit the God of War realm. What type of aesthetic would you like to see him in?
Egyptian. I think Egyptian would be the next best one.
I'd like to see like him dealing with Anubis and all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Osiris dealing with Set, fighting against Ra, or avoiding Ra.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that game.
Of course.
Now we're gonna get into our last boss topic. So I have a question for all three of us. Because, we like to focus on, like, what speaks our own languages. And lately, live services have been trying to grab everyone's attention.
Yep.
And so I wanted to ask, what are 3 key things for a live service that you, like, need or prioritize or look for a live service to speak your language and to stick with it?
Ooh.
Talking about, like pay-to-play kind of games, right?
Well, it
like
can
Destiny
it can be either, because like First Descendant is a live service. and so is Zenless Zone Zero.
Final Fantasy 14.
Final Fantasy 14. Any game that's like ongoing that requires you to keep playing and asking you to play. Overwatch is another.
A decent storyline for your game, first off, with decent gameplay. Those are mandatory, and a way to grind out your fucking pay to play system. That's really it.
Okay.
I think I spoke. I'm not gonna go like in great detail because I think I did that with First Ascendant already. Yeah. But yeah, those three things are you give me those three things, and I'll probably keep playing it for a while.
Well, I'd like to ask though on the story part, because that's usually something I don't really care for in a live service. Like, I'm happy if it's there, but I don't like require it. What do you look for in a story in a live service game to like grab you?
You know, I play a lot of like anime, like the anime ones. So it's like it's something engaging, just something to keep my attention. Because like I said, like I play Grand Blue and like I read like it's basically kind of like a
novel maybe.
Thank you. Well, yes, and you kind of read through it, and it keeps my attention going enough. So it's like I'm playing it like on my like when I'm bored and trying to like get through certain things. But like with First Ascendant, I think one of the biggest things is like I don't care about the story, so it's like that it's already not going, but the gameplay's fun. So,
yeah. What about you? What are three key things?
Key things, and I understand what you're saying about the story. I just want to say on that, like when you jump into a game, and it's like, hey, we got to get the thingy-mabob, and that thingy-mabob has to be used, or else this like. It's going to destroy all the land, and you're like, I don't fucking know what any of this shit is. You're using all these weird terms.
Yeah.
And I think that, when you jump into a live service game, they normally just have passable reasons for you to have a motivation.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I don't really understand my motivations. I'm going to ignore everything just to get the job done, because if I don't, the thingamabob's going to kill us all.
Yeah.
And, I do like it when a story actually has something that I can follow and have motivations towards that make me want to keep playing. Yeah. It's not the first on my list, but if we're going off my list, I think the most important thing is gameplay. I think getting me to turn the game on because I want to do whatever the feedback loop is that is extremely satisfying is important. I think Destiny gets away with that, for example. I think it has one of the really most how do you say the word? Most incoherent stories because of how much is locked away for people to play, that it really like rests on the fact that, hey, it's the gameplay that keeps you here. Getting in, destroying things, and shooting and upgrading your abilities and so on and so forth is important. And second thing would be and I don't know if this fits in gameplay, but progression. I think progression is really important. I think that having a fair and balanced way for me to acquire the materials needed to progress in the game is important. I think that it has to be fair to both the players and it has to be fair to the developers. I understand when you create a live service game, it is asking a lot to say, hey, you're going to have to support this for a very long time. A lot longer than just, hey, making a game, packaging it, and shipping it out and doing any type of tweaks to fix what was broken. You're going to constantly have to keep me interested. How am I going to show you respect by providing either my time or my money so that you can get paid properly to keep the content coming to me? So a fair and balanced way to have progression for both the developers and the players is important. Yeah. And then finally, I do think the last thing is I think I would say story. I would say story. I think that it's important for me to have the motivations to like complete this saga. When you look at a lot of the really big ones, like WoW is a good example. There's a lot of people that have tattoos because they believe in the Horde or they believe in the Alliance. There's it doesn't have to be intricate, very detailed story, but it has to have the motivations necessary. Overwatch is another example where you fall in love with these characters because of what there's a story that surrounds them, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I think that having the proper motivation for the player is important. So gameplay progression and story are the best things that I think are important for me to continue to play a live service game.
Yeah, and that's good. Both great answers. I was gonna say for me, my one is gameplay and gameplay loop.
Yeah.
I need combat and exploration to feel good.
Yeah.
To play the game, but for me, a second pillar is the sandbox. I can't stand it when like level design and enemy design is so bad that no matter how good your gameplay is, if it's not fun for me to use that gameplay in the playgrounds you give me, I hate it. I don't want to play it.
That's a very good. Destiny's a good example of that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because like I think Destiny is probably best in class, like what first-person shooter ability feel like gameplay, but I can't stand their sandboxes.
Yeah.
I think their sandboxes are vapid and empty.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's not a lot of games that do the sandbox right. So it's like, it's probably why I haven't gotten too much into too many live services. But third for me though, it's character creator.
That's a good. That makes sense.
Like so the only live service game that I personally love and still play to like this day and still want to play is Monster Hunter. And that's because one, my hunter is mine. It's me. It's Poe. And everything that I do, the combat loop is so good and the sandboxes are so good.
Yeah.
Because each of the maps are very different. They all have interactability. And so no matter how many times I play it, the gameplay loop, the sandbox, and the fact that my character progresses and it's my character, those three things come back to feed a loop that is a Jason Flynn game. Like,
Yeah.
So that to me is what I hope more will do, because like I'm liking First Descendant, but I also hate that I have to play a preset character.
Yeah.
That shit sucks for me.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but I understand hating it because it does feel better to have your character.
Well, when you're investing time, especially.
I was gonna say it's that's definitely a debate in of itself as what's better, classes or character based stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I actually like playing a character in a game that's preset. Like I like playing Kratos. I love playing Dante. But when I'm going to play a game for 500 plus hours like a Monster Hunter, if I had to play as Dale the Hunter, I wouldn't play it. Like I'd play it for 100 hours and then quit. Because I'd be like, all right, Dale, see you off to pasture, buddy. But yeah. But thank you guys for answering.
Yeah.
I hope with it we all get live services that speak our language.
You know, we are.
It's to happen. But
It is absolutely going to happen. It's going to happen next year, and it's called Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yep.
yep.
Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm just going to say this really quick, is going to do everything I ever wanted in a live service game, because I think that Monster Hunter World definitely is the best live service game I've ever played. The one thing I know that I like is if I'm going to play a multiplayer game, I want an open world. That is very important to me, because I just think it's cool to be able to go on that adventure with your friends in an unparalleled area, unblocked off area, to do all kinds of goofy shit.
Yeah.
I think Elden Ring really awoke that in me. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, now before we get into our final credits, going to leave you guys with some learning. Video game vocab. And since we talked about live services, they're all reliant on game servers. So today's definition is, what is a game server? Also sometimes referred to as a host. A game server is a server which is the authoritative source of events in a multiplayer video game. The server transmits enough data about its internal state to allow its connected clients to maintain their own accurate version of the game world for display to players. They also receive and process each player's input. So what that means is when you play a game, there's a bunch of stuff that's loaded on your end. But what might happen in your end might not reflect well in the other person who's connected to you.
Yeah.
That's why you need a server, because a server has all the load states of everything and is like, okay, what's he saying? All right, let's reflect that to everybody. Okay. And that's how you know it's why we don't, why it took so long to get really good live service games, is because that's obviously really hard to do when there's 10,000 people putting inputs at the same time into one world state. So next time a server blows up, I hope you have a little empathy because of this understanding, knowing that they probably got hit with 20 million inputs at the same time, and it probably bricked one of their servers. But yeah.
That's a good one. And it is time for our final credits. This is the last part of the show where we give you 30 seconds
uninterrupted,
to say whatever your heart desires.
be it salty,
Sweet.
or say nothing at all.
The mic is yours.
Tell us what's on your mind.
In 3, 2.
Well, hello, everybody. This is the part where I'm going to shamelessly promote myself, but I am an artist. Please go and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and if you're sad and use Facebook. You can find me on Underworld Realms. I do lewd art, I do fantasy art, I do comic book art, so please feel free to join that. I do have a Patreon if you want to support that as well. Also, I hate fruit baskets.
Damn. Game Language is recorded at Grizzly Voices Studios in Mesa, Arizona. Our producers are Jason Flynn and Troy Brown. Our intro music is our personal track, Penguin Symphony. Our outro music is Jump by Snail's House, also provided by Riot Music. Our editor and sound engineer is Adonis Shifter.